Hi everyone, it's Tami from Nutmeg Notebook. We're so glad you could join us today. We are going live on Sunday. Normally, Tom and I, say hi Tom.
Hello everyone.
Normally we do a live show on Tuesdays that we call Tuesday with Tami. We used to call it and sometimes Tom, but since Tom's in them all the time, now we're calling them Tuesdays with Tami and Tom. We live a whole food plant-based lifestyle and we blog about it at nutmegnotebook.com as well as here on our YouTube channel. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You can find us all around town. So today we are going to share with you our PIP solution.
PIP.
PIP. P-I-P.
I am not PIP. I am not the solution. What am I? Maybe, yeah, I'm a solution sometimes.
Sometimes you're a solution. Sometimes you're a problem. But
Okay.
I love you both ways.
Okay.
So we're kind of killing time here, allowing people to find us and to come on and say hello. Oh my gosh, where did all these people come from?
Well, some of them have been hanging out for a while.
Wow,
So,
hi you guys.
hello Janet, Louise, Pat, Christine, Nancy, Kira, Stephanie.
Louise was at our class last night.
Yeah, Florence Smith is here. Stephanie was on early. Actually, Stephanie, I think, was the first. Yeah, Stephanie was the very first one on.
Wow, that's so awesome. Okay, well, we're just so thrilled that you guys are here. So if you could click on like, that really helps our ratings here on YouTube. And if you subscribe, that's awesome because then you'll get notifications as long as you click the bell. You have to click on that little bell icon that's there by the subscribe tab so that you'll get notifications whenever we do a new video or whenever we go live. Also, we want to say make sure you check out the blog, nutmegnotebook.com, and subscribe and get your 2 free exclusive recipes just for subscribers. And there's a soup recipe that's one of them that you need to be making today probably because it's delicious. So today we're going to share with you the PIP solution. What do I want to say about it? I want to say that I posted about this on Instagram the other day and I was shocked at the reaction. We got such an overwhelming positive reaction and people had never heard of doing this. And so I thought, you know what? We need to do a YouTube video about this because I thought it was a pretty basic thing. So what is it? Well, I'm going to show you what it is. This is my purse. I love this bag.
Now, some people may have jumped ahead and peeked in the description.
They could have, and they could already know. This is this is a Bagolini bag, and I love it because it's lightweight. It doesn't weigh a ton of weight to begin with. It's also vegan, and it's great. So PIP is this. Potato in my purse. Now, why would you carry a potato in your purse? Well, for a lot of reasons. Because sometimes when I go out to do errands and I think, you know, I'm only going to be gone for an hour, but then it ends up being 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And, you know, if you're following a whole food plant-based lifestyle that's SOS free, which is no added salt, oil, or sugar, it can be a little difficult to find fast food, if you will. So I just carry it with me. Now I'm going to show you what I have inside this foil. So I'm using foil to keep my Japanese sweet potato warm that I air fried. And it's nice and warm. Oh, and doesn't it smell good? Because it has cinnamon on it. You know you want it. So I cut it in half, scored it, air fried it. While it was hot, I wrapped it in parchment paper and then I wrapped it in foil to keep it hot. And then this little bag, as you can see, is lined. It's insulated, so it helps keep things either hot or cold. And it comes in a variety of sizes. This particular one is no longer available on Amazon, but Tom found some other ones that he put on our Amazon shop page. So I carry a potato with me in my purse if we're going to be going out and running errands, and I'm not sure how long we're going to be gone, because then it gives me something to eat. If we have, you know, an appointment someplace, and they always seem to land either just before lunch or
They do.
yeah, or during lunchtime. And so we'll pack potatoes with us. That's PIP, potato in purse or potato in pocket.
Potato in the pocket, and no, I don't mean my blue jeans pocket. I mean my coat pocket.
Your jacket pocket.
And, you know, I've got a one I call the puffy, which is one of those fiber-filled ones that has generous pockets, and then I've got my canvasy one from REI that's got generous pockets. But in the summertime, I guess I would need a different acronym. Mine's a PIB, a PIB.
Yours is a PIB.
In the summertime, if we're going to like a conference with our local vegan society or something, and it's going to be a longer course, I will bring stuff so that I'm guaranteed an oil-free snack. And so, yes,
He has a man bag.
I have my Mr. Ricardo man bag, and it too can hold, in this case, a room temperature potato in a simple bag, which Tami can talk about. But these routinely save us. We can go to a conference, you know, get our seat, not have to worry about getting hungry or falling asleep, and we always have our starch solution ready to go.
Or we could, to a movie theater, we'll take it into the movie theater, or especially when we're traveling, we carry potatoes with us everywhere we go, as you well know. We even cook them in the car in our little Road Pro oven that plugs into the car. So here's the concept. We're doing, bless you, you okay?
Yeah, I'm muted though.
Okay. So we are doing ultimate weight loss classes right now. We have a 4-week session going where we're teaching people the Chef AJ's ultimate weight loss plan. And so, you know, some of the people are new to plant-based and of course new to SOS free. And so we were talking with them last night about, you know, how to prepare when you're going out to eat with people, and maybe you're going to a restaurant that doesn't necessarily have vegan options. So what are the things that you can do to be prepared? You know, there's an old saying that goes, plan to fail, fail to plan. And so you've always got to be prepared, because you've got to be responsible for the food that's going to go in your mouth. And so we were telling them about taking potatoes with them, and it was something that they hadn't thought of, and I hadn't realized that people hadn't thought about how fantastic potatoes are, especially as a little travel food, because it's okay, they can be at room temperature for a couple of hours and they'll be just fine. But if you're worried about that, this is a little bit bigger insulated bag than the one that I had that potato in, and this is one of those reusable baggies, so you can wash it. So here I have a really good size potato in here, and I love these Japanese sweet potatoes that have been baked and refrigerated. I'll eat them cold. They taste like dessert to me, and I love them even cold. And then a little one of the little blue ice freezer. I never know what to call these little.
I don't know. Okay, if somebody knows the name of
these?
Little freezer plastic pouches.
Little blue ice thing, and that can go in there. And this is good in the summertime because we live in California and it gets really hot here. And then I can zip it shut. And
you can just go by the picture on our Amazon library.
Yeah, we have those.
I have a picture of those. It's like a 4-pack, I think.
Yeah, a little ice pack, I guess. And see, and that will still even fit in my purse. And so it's great, because then starch is so filling. And that's why we choose to take starch with us. So it doesn't need any seasoning. It tastes great just as it is. And it's super filling. It helps you feel satiated.
You can flavor it a bazillion ways.
You can if you want. You can, but
we often eat plain.
We love them plain. Or we will also take already baked Yukon Gold potatoes with us, because we love those just as a little snack as well. And if you want, you can take a little bit of flavored vinegar. These are the California Balsamic little travel size vinegars. These are little 3-ounce bottles. This is the Gilroy garlic. This is the teriyaki balsamic. This one is a little sweeter one. It's a raspberry balsamic. And so in the wintertime, I'll just keep a couple of these in the car, the little pocket on the car door. And that way we have them if we, catch ourselves out and decide to go to a salad bar or something, then we don't have to worry about dressing. We just use the vinegars. If you want, you can put those on your potato. We just find that we don't even need anything on the potato. We do like them just plain. But if you're just joining us, I was also showing how you can air fry a potato or take it hot out of the oven or microwave, wrap it in some parchment paper. That way it's just not touching the foil if we don't want to have, our food touching aluminum. And then wrap it up in the foil and it will stay warm for hours. And you can also get
when
these.
we went to downtown, was it Tuesday Night Festival in Palm Springs with Chef AJ and Charles?
Yes, I was going to talk about that.
Well, then I'll let you do that. Because, I remember how hot.
So when we were down in Palm Springs for our training for Ultimate Weight Loss Education, we were going to a street fair one night. So AJ took sweet potatoes that she had previously baked and put in the refrigerator. And then she cut them in half and put them in the Breville air fryer. She did like 2 trays of them because there was 6 of us that went. And then while they were still nice and hot, she wrapped them up in foil, put them in a backpack, and her husband Charles wore the backpack around. And so we went to the street fair, and then when we got hungry, we found a bench to sit on, and she gave us each a foil pack that had 4 halves of sweet potatoes in it. And it was like the most delicious thing ever. And she says that hunger is the best seasoning. So when you're really, really hungry, that's when food tastes so amazing. And so we sat there and we all ate our sweet potatoes.
We were actually filled up in a very busy street at this festival. I mean, there's thousands of people around. And somehow we staked out 2 benches right on the curb next to the street. And so here we are, we're all huddled around like this little group, and we all got our sweet potatoes. It had to look so comical.
I bet it
But
did.
other people walking by, and they would say, "What are you guys eating?" Because they want to know where to get them.
It was so delicious, and that's all we had for dinner. Because, other than some grilled corn, I don't think there was anything at the festival that was vegan or
Not
healthy.
strong on healthy food.
Yeah, no. But we didn't even want the grilled corn because after we finished eating our sweet potatoes, everybody was full, and so that's how that went. I've lost my train of thought.
I think
now.
we're caught up with that, but you were about
Did they have voice when I said that we call it PIP and she calls it pimp? Yes. I think so. Okay. Whew. Okay. It's terrible when we have a problem like that because then I lose my train of thought. Okay, so here's another bag that I also really like to use. Now, I bought this several years ago. Costco had these, and it kind of looks like a purse, but guess what? Inside, I have another insulated bag, but this bag is insulated. Half of it is insulated. So half of it is like a cooler bag, like a lunch cooler bag, and the other half is like a purse. And so this is great if you're going into like a movie theater and you want to take snacks in with you because it just looks like a purse. No one would know any different. But because it's insulated, you can put a little ice pack in here, and then if you're doing a cold potato, you can put your cold potato in there. If you want your potato to stay hot, if you wrap it in the foil and then put it inside one of the smaller bags, or even just take a kitchen towel and wrap it up in the kitchen towel, that gives it more insulation, and then tuck it down in here, and it will stay nice and hot. So, and we've just learned to take potatoes with us like everywhere we go. Even if we're gonna go to the salad bar at Whole Foods, we will take and cut up a Yukon Gold potato that we've already baked, because we batch prep everything, so we always have potatoes in the fridge that have already been baked, and we'll dice it up, we'll season it with some seasoning, maybe some garlic and herb seasoning, and we'll open up a can of beans or take homemade beans that we've rinsed and put those in a container and take those, because I don't want to pay $9 or $8.99, whatever it is, per pound for those heavier things. And so we'll get our lettuce and our veggies and all of that, and then we'll add our own potatoes and beans to it.
Rose is asking what the brand of the first bag was here. Now, that's the one that we couldn't find
Yeah,
more
this
recently.
is S-A-C-H-I. S-A-C-H-I. But we couldn't find them again. And so, but Tom did find some that are very similar to these. I originally got these from Amazon, but we couldn't find these when we went looking. And then Costco doesn't have these right now, but we have some listed on our Amazon shop page.
I've got the Nicole Millers listed on the Amazon.com/shop/Nutmeg notebook. There's a floral one and a black and white printed. When you click on those, there's a variety of colors to look at. Those are the ones we found that seem most similar to this one. And then on the row below that is another product that's called Insulated Reusable Eco Snack Bag, to keep it simple. And that comes in a couple of different prints as well. So those are what I found on search. We can't testify to their quality necessarily, but they seem in their features and benefits description very similar.
And they got
to these
good
black
ratings
ones.
on Amazon.
Yeah, they've got 4-star ratings.
They've got 4-star ratings on Amazon.
So look at that on under the influencer box, which is where I've got all of the general products, not the pots and pans not the utensils and not the kitchen equipment, but the influencer one is all of the general stuff right now.
Now, when I posted about this on Instagram and Facebook the other day, somebody said, "You're eating a raw potato? Is that even safe?" And I was like, no, it's not raw. It's cooked. It's a cooked potato that I'm taking with me. And, potatoes themselves don't carry the pathogens for like E. coli or what's the other foodborne? Salmonella. The only way they would get it is if they had been exposed to some type of animal or animal secretion. And so, they're very safe to carry in your purse in a container. That was another thing.
Kathy likes raw potatoes.
Do you? Oh, my mom, when she would peel potatoes to make like mashed potatoes or something, she would eat the raw potatoes. I've never cared for them.
But
you like them.
When my mom used to prep potatoes, I would sneak one. It kind of is reminiscent of a water chestnut, maybe a little mealy. It was a fun,
You liked it
because it was mostly fun because I was getting it on the sly. But
yeah, probably that's probably it. So our point to our students last night was just that you always have to be prepared, and so also in the summertime, because it gets really, really hot here in Northern California in the summertime. If I know I'm going to be out for a few hours, I will just take this cooler bag. This is my lunch bag. This one will hold my big, beautiful,
and there's a whole video on that.
Chopped salad. Yeah, we have a whole video on this. But I will take this bag with me when I go shopping. I won't take it in the store, of course, but I'll leave it in my car. And I'll just put a couple of the blue ice chips in here, the freezer chips. And I'll toss in, some hummus and some carrots or fruit and a couple of potatoes. And it'll stay perfectly cold and be fine for a few hours. But I just want to know that, if I'm out through lunch hour and I get hungry, I've got something decent that I can eat. And this is the e-cooler bag, and we have a whole video on that. So the other suggestions I wanted to give you.
I was going to let you know, because you
Yes.
just said ice chips. A a perler in your feed. A couple folks offered that that's what AJ calls them, as ice
Ice chips.
And then the other offering was the blue ice packs.
Yeah, blue
so
ice
I think
packs.
she uses the chips because these are real thin, skinny ones that work in these really small bags. Because for our big cooler, of course, we do have the great big brick blue ice pack, which I would call a pack, not
Yeah,
chip.
these we do have on the Amazon
Yeah. So
page
AJ
too.
calls them chips.
And I think this came with like 8 or 10 or something. So we always have, you know, even if we've used some and forgot to take them out of the bag, we always have some in the freezer for the next day. So that works really well. So you can pack veggies, fruit, potatoes, hummus. You can even freeze hummus, and it freezes beautifully. So if you freeze it in small containers, then you can pop that in your cooler bag or inside a Ziploc and put it inside your purse, and it will act like the little freezer blue ice chip, and it'll slowly thaw out, and then you'll have it to use to eat as well. But I also want to say, I went into a regular grocery store the other day, and you know, we shop at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and Costco mostly, but I ran into the local Safeway store to pick something up, and as soon as I walked in, of course it's January, so where, you know, all the junk food had been around Christmas and New Year's, this time the little cooler case that they had at the front entrance was full of fresh fruit and vegetables, pre-cut in nice little containers. They were like $5 a piece, and I should have snapped a picture of it, but I thought that is so great because you could just run in there. If you felt like you were starving, you could run in there and pick up a healthy snack that would be very low calorie density, high nutrient, and completely ready for you to go. So keep a couple napkins and, you know, a plastic fork and spoon in the glove box, and you will always be prepared. And, you know, most grocery stores now have fresh fruit and vegetables prepped, ready to go. And so there's really no excuse to go through the fast food drive-through or to eat something fattening that's off your plan. And, you know, we're here in January, everybody's pumped up and ready to be healthy and make changes. So you have to plan for them. Also, like our Whole Foods has an amazing salad bar, and it has so many healthy options on it, tons of different greens and lettuces and lots of raw vegetables to choose from and beans, and they have plain balsamic vinegar, but you know, we like our flavored ones, so we always take those with us. Also Sprouts, which is a chain that's here locally, and it's kind of like a little bit, it's a cross between a Trader Joe's and a health food store, I guess I want to say, and they even have a salad bar in their store. The Whole Foods also has a microwave close to the seating area for people who get something from the deli or the salad bar, and you can use the microwave, so you could actually pick up a potato and you could take it over there and you could cook it in the microwave in a few minutes. And so, I mean, there's just really no excuse because there's lots of ways that you can stay eating healthy. At Wendy's, you can get a plain baked potato. I have known this since I'm going plant-based, but we have never needed to go through Wendy's, but a lot of people do. They'll get like 2 plain baked potatoes, don't put anything on them, and you know, they'll eat those. And if you have a little bottle of vinegar with you or whatever kind of sauce you like, then you know, that can be a really good option. And if you go to a Chinese restaurant, you can always get steamed rice and steamed vegetables. Just tell them don't put any soy sauce on it, and you know, make sure that they don't add any sugar to their rice when they steam their rice, and then you know, that's a healthy, fun little entree. So, you know, the reason we pick starch is because starch is about 1 calorie per gram compared to like meat and cheese and that really nasty stuff at 4 calories a gram. And then oil is 9 calories a gram. And scientific studies have shown that starch, the unrefined starch, the unrefined carbohydrates like potatoes, like rice, like beans. Those have a satiating effect that lasts for hours because they're very slowly metabolized. Unlike fat, something that's really high fat, oil, that is not even registered. Your brain doesn't even say, oh yeah, you know, we just had 400 calories of fat. It doesn't even register. So that doesn't satiate you. It just makes you want to eat more because your brain doesn't count it. And so it's looking for things that are going to create energy. And carbohydrates, unrefined carbohydrates, have gotten a really bad rap, but they're actually super healthy. They're where we get our energy from. They get converted to glucose. You're not going to get fat from eating potatoes and rice and corn and beans and peas and lentils. They are not going to make you fat. Our body does not store them as fat. It stores them as glycogen in the muscles. And so eat them because they taste amazing. They fill you up. They make you feel happy because they help you release serotonin, and which is a chemical that makes you feel good. Yes.
Oh, I was just, are you at the end of a sentence?
I'm pretty much at the end of a sentence.
Okay, yeah, just in catching up with the dialogue here, I have added the little bag link and the purse size bag link, and I don't know that it's quite as big as that one. But read the descriptions carefully on those. Look around.
And what about California Balsamics?
I put that on there.
We don't have an affiliate with California Balsamic. We just love their products. Their products are amazing. So it's a husband and wife team from Ukiah, California, and we love them.
And if you say Nutmeg Notebook, what happens?
Then you get 2 free samples if you put Nutmeg Notebook in the message box at checkout, and you can state which 2 flavors you would like to try as well.
Yeah.
So, and they have a flat rate, very economical shipping rate, and I tell people, you know, buddy up with a friend and place an order and split the shipping. It's a very economical way to do it. So if you want to know more about potatoes and starch and why it's so healthy, Dr. McDougall's Starch Solution book is a great read. You can learn all about starch and why scientists know that our bodies were made to eat a starch-based diet. And then he also has his Maximum Weight Loss book, which is a really good read. And of course, you know, I love Chef AJ's The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss. And this is pretty much my food plan Bible. And it has 117 recipes in it that are totally amazing, SOS free, also gluten free. She doesn't say anywhere in the book that it's a gluten-free program, but it is a gluten-free program, and it's totally based on the calorie density chart. And so if you eat 600 calories or below calorie density per pound of food, you will naturally get healthier, lose weight, and be able to maintain your weight. Because what's the point of losing it if you're not going to maintain it? There is none. I was a yo-yo dieter for 40 years until I learned about calorie density and started following her program. So, do you guys have any questions?
We do.
Woohoo! All right.
Okay, don't yell in your ear. Careful.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right.
Was that too loud? Sorry.
Okay. So, we've been talking quite a bit about the sweet potatoes and how you fix them and air frying them, which brought the question up of the tray, lining the tray in the bottom of the Breville. What do we do about that?
Oh, the bottom tray, we don't do anything because it cleans up so easy. Let me see.
And the assumption on that, and the reason we get away with it, because we only cook plant-based items in this. So is this the original one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been using this tray for almost 2 years. 3 years. And
it's got a little crumb there
and
from the potato that I air fried for
yeah,
you guys.
You know, when things ooze and drip, sometimes they fall to the bottom. We do use the mesh mats.
I'll show them.
That catch a lot of the goo, for lack of the better word, up right on the tray. And so it doesn't fall to the bottom. And those we soak in the sink and scrub off with a dishcloth. But stuff does fall in that tray. It does turn black, and then it washes right off. Tami will use...
this is the
grill
grill
mesh mat,
mat that Tom's talking about. Now it comes
Square and bigger.
and so you just have to trim it to fit, and this is on our Amazon page. We have a couple different kind because sometimes one or the other will run out.
This is the more popular of the two, though.
And so these work great because the air fryer racks are a little hard to clean sticky stuff off of. But the stickiest thing that we make in there is probably the sweet potatoes, because they'll ooze a little bit. But like Tom was saying, it'll mostly gather on this. And then what I have found the best thing to do when the bottom crumb tray gets messy, because sometimes the sweet potatoes will ooze and it'll drop on there and then it'll turn black, is I will just put it in the sink. I'll run hot soapy water and I will lay because that tray is too big to fit down in my sink, but I'll run hot soapy water. I'll get my dishcloth nice and soaked up in that hot soapy water, and then I won't wring it out and I'll lay it over the spot that has burnt on, and I'll just let it sit for about 15 minutes and it'll come right off.
And do you ever use that white scrubby thing too on something that's stubborn?
Yeah, sometimes I'll
What's the white scrubby thing?
The Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a kitchen one, and that works really well, and that helps get everything off. Or Barkeeper's Friend also works well on the stainless steel. And then when I use the air frying racks and they get gunk on them, because I do a Japanese sweet potato in there every day, then I will just, when it's cool enough to touch it, then I'll pull it out and it will fit in my sink. And so I will run hot soapy water in my kitchen sink, and then I'll put that in there and I will let it soak while I'm eating. And then when I'm done eating, it cleans up really nicely. And this cleans up really well.
Have you ever used baking soda?
I have used baking soda. I think the Magic Eraser works better than the baking soda. But baking soda and a little bit of water and some elbow grease can work. I do use that on like the glass of my oven to get that clean. So more questions. Ask questions, you guys. I'm happy to answer them.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be about this. It can be about something else.
Okay. Texan of 7, I don't quite understand are you talking about washing the tray at the bottom? Not sure. Some folks do put a piece of foil at the bottom of that to catch stuff. Once upon a time, Breville recommended not to put things in there because they could block the airflow. Up earlier in the chat, though, somebody said something about Breville saying something about liners, so I'll keep an eye out for that.
Well, there are some products on the market that are called oven liners that are made for that.
Okay, so. I'm sorry, Texan of 7, you were answering Jean. I apologize, so disregard that. Let's see, there was another question I promised to answer up here. Does your Amazon store, does your Amazon store suggest liner for Breville crumb tray? No, it does not. We just answered that one.
Yeah, we don't have that on there.
Let's see. If you have a question moving forward, it helps me because we love the interactive chat amongst members of the group. That's awesome. If you have a question specifically for Tami, put 4 question marks in front of it and 4 question marks behind it. That lets me know that it's for her, and I'll get that to her.
It's just easier in the feed for
yeah, because what happens
is
I start answering questions that people have already answered amongst themselves. Let's see. We were talking earlier online here about the bags. I did put those links in the description, but you will need to refresh your browser before they show up from when you came on the live, so they won't show up until you do that. My plant-based life is asking, do you guys ever slip up and eat vegan junk food ever? I'm going to say I'm probably guilty of that. I'm going to say probably she is not guilty of that. And that usually happens like in a restaurant or press for time. So
you like vegan pizza?
Yeah.
And that'll have some vegan cheese on it
Yeah.
that has oil in it. So he'll do that sometimes.
She makes me feel appropriately guilty. Guilty. I get this look.
I try not to say anything because it's once in a while. So let's see, once in a great while, although we haven't probably done that in 2 years, I've had like vegan ice cream from a little ice cream shop that makes homemade vegan ice cream. So up in Grass Valley or Nevada City when we went up there. But I think it's been like 2 years since we've done that. But otherwise, I pretty much eat healthy all the time. Just because if I cross over and start nibbling on things that are a higher calorie density and junk food, that's going to make my healthy food not taste as great because I'll get a bigger dopamine hit from a higher calorie density food that's probably has more fat. If it has salt and sugar, then, you know, all the bells and whistles are going to go off in my head, and my brain is going to want more because we are hardwired to seek out the highest calorie density food in our environment for the least amount of effort. That is a survival technique. And so once you do that, then the brain really lights up, and then the next day it's going to tell you it wants it again. And I just don't want to fight that demon. I don't want to have cravings for food that's unhealthy, and I don't want the food that I eat every day to stop tasting delicious to me. And because I eat healthy food all the time, that's what I crave because that's what I'm used to having. So for me, being a person who has yo-yo dieted, I'm 60 years old, and for the I went on my first diet when I was 17, and that just started, 4 decades of yo-yo dieting, going on a diet, losing weight, only to gain it back, and then, try a different diet. And so I just don't want to go there. I just so much enjoy having stable, calm brain chemistry, feeling good about how I'm eating, being satisfied, eating healthy food, that it's just not worth it to me to go off. So that's a long answer.
It was a good long answer.
Thank you.
I am catching up with a comment that one of you left way up in the chat about 31, the brand 31 totes.
Oh, yes, that's our black and white bag that we always take to Whole Foods. That's
All right.
a 31.
So, Kathy Johnson, thank you so much. Up early in the chat, you mentioned 31, and I did go to Amazon and I found it on there, and that does look some very similar to this one.
Nice. Those are very nice bags.
And quite a variety, and the prices look good too. So I just added that brand to the very top of the influencer list. I'll later move it down next to the others.
Yeah, that nice black and white bag that we take to Whole Foods is
that a 31?
Yeah, Judy gave me that for like my birthday or something one year.
The one that you have monogrammed.
And we love that. Yeah, it's monogrammed. It's a great bag. Those are really nice bags, and they're insulated and they're very durable. I've about wore this one out because I've been using it for years. So I saw a question.
There's been a whole bunch of questions come in while we were on that thing up there. Yeah, these question marks here.
Oh, I never end up throwing out my potato. Mary 1414 asked, how often do you end up having to throw out the PIP, the PIP, due to it being at an unsafe temperature for too long? I never have to throw it out. I will eat that because I'm not out for like 6 hours with it being at room temperature, although I don't think it would hurt it because, like I said, it doesn't carry pathogens. But I'll eat it when I get home. It'll end up, because I'm taking it with me because there's a chance that I'm gonna miss a meal. And the other thing I want to say is hunger is not an emergency, and we've been teaching that to our students too. Hunger kind of ramps up, peaks, and then dies off if you don't eat. So, you might have, oh gosh, like I'm really hungry. But if you aren't able to eat, guess what? It's gonna die off. It's not gonna keep increasing. The hunger pangs will die off. and you can distract yourself. You can drink some water. Oftentimes people think that they're hungry when really they're dehydrated and they just need some fluids. And if they drink some water or have some herbal tea, then that will satisfy them for the moment. And yes.
Kathy was talking about room temperature potatoes, and this came up recently. I don't know if it was on your Facebook or whatever. Room temperature potatoes for a few hours is not a big issue. It's when, for instance, potato salad that has mayonnaise in it, which includes animal products, is definitely not a good idea. So a plain baked potato or sweet potato is going to hold just fine at room temperature for a few hours. It doesn't have things in it that are going to immediately go bad.
Yeah.
So of course, there's a limit to that, but a few hours is not going to create an issue with a cooked potato.
No. And I've known people, well, Maureen last night at our class, and she's a nurse, she said that she went on a school trip with one of her sons, and she had potatoes at room temperature for a couple of days, and that they did fine. So, I mean, I haven't researched it. I haven't looked. Oh, thank you, Violet. #1 fan. Thank you. That's so awesome. Somebody asked if we ever use parchment paper in the Breville Smart Oven air fryer. No, I've never used parchment paper in there for air frying. I have lined a baking pan to go in there.
Either.
No, that did. As long as I folded it down and didn't have extra hanging up, but not for air frying.
Yeah.
So I've never.
It will burn on air frying.
It would probably burn on air frying, and so we wouldn't want to do that. Also, let's see. So I was talking about, we were teaching our students that hunger is not an emergency. It's okay to be hungry. That doesn't mean you have to go fulfill that right now, unless you have a medical condition. You're diabetic or you're hypoglycemic. Then, do what you need to do. But for the regular person whose lunch is going to be delayed by an hour because you don't have something healthy there to eat, you're going to be okay. And if you have extra fat on your body, then your body has a place to get the calories that it needs. It will grab the fat from your storage and it will use that. And so I always try to remember that too, that, if I have a little bit of fat on me, then my body's got calories to use. I'm not going to be famished.
Okay, I'm going to read you another one here. And I think eat more vegetables is going to be your answer. Text Native 7 is as I requested, restating her question. They've been whole food plant-based, no salt, oil, or sugar, no nuts, no seeds, no avocados for the last 6 months, and no weight loss. Did Mary's Mini for 10 days, chose potato as my starch, no weight loss. That comes up occasionally, and the doctors usually say.
Dr. Goldhammer says that if he sees somebody who's overweight, then he knows he's seeing someone who's not eating enough non-starchy vegetables. So, I would see my physician, and I would get my thyroid checked to make sure that there's not something else going on.
We had that with her. She plateaued, and it turned out to be a thyroid issue.
Yeah. And, I didn't plateau. I started gaining weight.
Oh.
Even though I was...
Well, I would never say that.
Even though I was, I was eating whole food plant-based and eating very healthy, whole food plant-based, but I started gaining weight and thought, well, my food hasn't changed, my exercise hasn't changed, why am I putting on weight? And so I went to the doctor, got my blood work done, and found out that I was hypothyroid. So I would have that checked just to make sure, and then if that's okay, then I would up the non-starchy vegetables, and I would start the day in a savory way, which is what we do in the Ultimate Weight Loss Plan.
Take a look at Chef AJ's Feel Fabulous Over 40 program, because there's a lot of resource materials in the members area, and she's going to talk about vegetables for breakfast and sequencing. And we've seen a lot of people have great success on that have otherwise been stuck. So
if you start with vegetables in the morning, especially dark leafy greens, then dark leafy greens contain a compound called thylakoids. And Dr. Greger talks about this in his new book, How Not to Diet. And thylakoids work as a natural appetite suppressant, and they help suppress cravings. And he says that you only need about half a cup of cooked spinach in order to get those benefits. And the benefits last for hours. That's why in the Ultimate Weight Loss Plan, we like to start our day in a savory way with some dark leafy greens so that we get the benefits of those thylakoids. Because if you start out with something sweet, that just sets you up for wanting to eat more sweet the rest of the day. If you start with the dark leafy greens and you get the benefits of the appetite suppressant as well as the benefits of it curbing cravings, you will actually eat less food the rest of the day. And then also you should start every meal with non-starchy vegetables first. We always tell people who are trying to lose weight to start with the lowest calorie density foods first, which are going to be non-starchy vegetables and fruits, and then work your way up. Because if you start with the higher calorie density foods like potatoes, rice, beans, winter squash, if you start eating those first, those are so highly palatable that you're going to consume those until you get full, and you won't go back to the non-starchy vegetables. But if you start with the non-starchy vegetables first, they're full of fiber, they're full of water. They're going to create bulk in your stomach. They're going to activate the stretch receptors that are in your stomach. They're going to help you feel full. Then you'll have less room for the higher calorie density foods like the starch. And so you'll end up consuming fewer calories that way, and you will end up hopefully losing weight.
Oh, what happened there? I just lost my screen.
You touched it.
Florence was, oh, it's a touch screen. Florence Smith was asking us earlier in the chat. Today is Sunday. We know that. This is officially our Tuesday with Tami show, which are typically on Tuesdays, but our schedule this coming Tuesday does not permit that. So usually we're airing on Tuesdays around 4 o'clock. If for some reason that's not going to work, we'll air a bit early on Sunday. So there will not be a Tuesday with Tami this coming week. It's happening right now. And then I'll figure out how to title this at the end of the day after we get the saved upload done.
Yeah, once we looked at this schedule, I was like, oh, we're not going to be able to work in a live YouTube on Tuesday. We better shoot it today and just do it today.
Teresa, I've gone back up to the top of the feed, and you watch here in case a troll shows up. I need to get him. I'm up in the feed, so I'm not on the bottom. Teresa's asking, to continue to lose weight, do you limit the amount of starch you eat each day, a certain amount?
No.
No.
But what we do is we eat until we are comfortably full. So that is the key. So if you start with non-starchy vegetables, and you know, a half a pound to a pound is a good idea, and you know that it's if they're cooked, like a pound of spinach will cook down to about a cup. You know, a pound of Brussels sprouts, after you air fry them or oven roast them, you're going to have about 2 cups. Pretty easy to eat that. Now, I'm not a mono eater, so I don't like to eat just one whole pound of one vegetable. I like to mix them and have a little more variety. But what was the question? I lost my train of thought.
I think you answered it. Marianne,
okay.
new question.
So here's what will happen. I don't consciously limit my starch. No, I don't. But when you're sequencing, you are just naturally going to have less room for more starch. But let's say, like when we first got the air fryer, and I was, you know, so excited to be able to make French fries. And so I was making a big tray of French fries. Like I was filling the tray. And, you know, it's a big tray. It holds this much. Well, we were eating those first. And so we were eating the whole tray full of French fries. And I put on 5 pounds. And then I was talking to Chef AJ, and I was like, I gained 5 pounds since we got the air fryer. She's like, well, how many potatoes are you air frying when you're air frying potatoes? And I was like, oh, I'm doing a whole tray. And she said, no. She said, if you normally eat 1 potato at a meal, then you take that 1 potato and you cut it into French fries and you air fry the normal size of potato that you would normally eat at a meal. and eat your vegetables first.
How
And
long do you air fry
I was like
potatoes,
that.
and what temperature do you
So
use?
we do 400 degrees, a cold air fryer. We don't preheat it. We put them on the tray. We put them in a cold air fryer. We set the temperature to 400 degrees and usually 20 minutes. We'll do it. Whether we're doing a half like this, or if we're doing French
The
fries.
potatoes starting to look like it's been around the bend.
I know it is. It's getting soggy now.
That's my dessert. Stop
I know
messing
we're
with
going to
it.
eat it. Or even the Japanese sweet potato croutons, and we have a video all about that. So, and we always are using a pre-baked potato because the starch in the potato changes when it has been refrigerated. It converts to what they call resistant starch. That means that it's very slow to get turned into glucose in your body. Also, they taste better. So we bake the potatoes at 400 degrees, the Japanese sweet potatoes, for an hour and 20 minutes, depending on how big they are. If they're even bigger than that, sometimes it can take longer. Yukon Gold potatoes, about an hour. Hannah yams, hour and 20 minutes. Just the garnet yams, an hour. And then we refrigerate them. And then they make the best French fries. The Yukon Golds or russets make the best French fries after they've been baked, chilled, and then sliced. And then air fried. Cold air fryer, 400 degrees for 20 minutes. And most of the vegetables that we do in there, 400 degrees and 20 minutes, believe it or not. Corn on the cob, Brussels sprouts, but not asparagus. Asparagus we do for about 7 minutes. More questions?
Costco Kirkland Balsamic Vinegar, this is from Stephanie Simpson, does not show any acidity percent, so how do you consume safely on a whole food plant-based diet?
Say it again.
The Kirkland Balsamic is not showing an acidity percentage?
It's usually the regular balsamics are 6%. Did you want to grab ours to
I was
look?
going to see what it says.
Yeah. They're usually regular vinegars are about 6%. So they have a little more acidity to them than, let's say, the California balsamics. So I'm not sure about when you're talking about how do you know how much to consume safely. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Acidity, 6%, right here in
On the
some
back.
very fine print. Acidity,
On the back,
6%.
it says 6%. So Dr. Greger, in his new book, How Not to Diet, he recommends 2 teaspoons of vinegar per meal per day because it helps you lose weight. And he says that the specialty vinegars are perfectly fine. Apple cider vinegar is perfectly fine. Balsamic vinegar is perfectly fine. So I don't think that it really matters what kind of vinegar it is. You just want to make sure that whatever vinegar you're using doesn't have added sugar in it. And these have sugar, but it's from the natural sugar that occurs in the grape or the grape must that they use.
Okay, Jamie is, by the way, a couple of folks on the chat, in terms of the subject of potatoes in general, we've heard Andrew Spudfit Taylor speak. We also have heard High Carb Hannah speak. And those are 2, successful weight loss people that have been very involved. The potatoes played a significant role in their story. So be sure to check those channels out when you have time. Did you answer where we get the organic Japanese sweet potatoes already? Whole Foods?
We get those at Whole Foods. Also and we like to buy organic because we like to eat the skin. But Trader Joe's has the Murasaki sweet potatoes, and those are a Japanese sweet potato, but they are not organic.
Do you poke holes in the skin when you
I do not on sweet potatoes, not Japanese.
And that's from Jamie as well.
Not Japanese sweet potatoes, not Hannah yams, and not garnet yams. The only potatoes that we poke are russets or Yukon Golds, and that's to keep them from exploding. And we have never poked the sweet potatoes, and we have never had them explode. All of my plant-based friends cook their potatoes the same way that I do, and we've never had our sweet potatoes explode. We don't poke them because when you poke them, all the wonderful sweet juices
Want to get out.
want to get out, and then they burn on the tray, and then the potato is not as sweet, and so we want to leave those intact. Now, the gal that was asking about saying that she just has not been able to lose weight, she said she's tried all the tips that everybody has talked about and still hasn't been able to lose weight. And so then I would say that it's time to have a consultation with one of the plant-based doctors and try to figure out what it is you're doing, because not knowing what you're eating and what your habits are, because there is so much that plays into being able to lose weight: stress, sleep, caffeine. There's so much. So I would book a consult with a plant-based doctor. I know that the doctors at True North Health Center in Santa Rosa, where Tom and I were a few weeks ago, they will do phone consults with patients that don't live close enough to come there. So you could call True North Health Center in Santa Rosa, California, and see if you could book an appointment with one of the doctors
Consultation.
there.
Yeah, so hang in there, Texas native.
I'm so sorry. I know it's very frustrating, and that is so frustrating. But, and are your clothes still fitting the same way, or are your clothes getting loose? Because, our friend Shada had like a plateau that lasted like 6 months, but the scale didn't budge, but her body was changing, and her, how her clothes were fitting was changing. So, but Dr. Doug Lyle talks about when we reach a point of equilibrium, then we have to change something. We either need to change something about what we're eating or how we're eating, or we need to change the amount of exercise that we're doing. Because if you plateau and stay there for a while, then you've reached an equilibrium and something needs to be adjusted, something needs to be changed. And if you're staying left of the red line, if you're staying on the calorie density chart, if you're staying at 600 calories or below per pound, you should be able to lose weight. So time to talk to a plant-based doctor.
From Michelle Blue, when you bake the potatoes, are you using the convection setting in the big oven?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because we're doing 3 trays at once, and so we need that air to move around in there so that all of the potatoes are three layers, 3 levels at once.
Yeah, and we're doing that in our convection oven, our regular oven, not the Breville, because we can do 3 trays like Tom was saying.
Okay, and then Brenda's asking, do you use nutritional yeast?
Just a little bit. We use
in your cheese sauce that we put on the potatoes?
Yeah, we use a little bit. I use a little bit in my Alfredo sauce. I use some, Chef AJ has some in a couple of her recipes that we like, that we use. And the brand that we like, we have on our Amazon page. So Tom's putting that link down below. What else?
Let's see. We're at 1 hour, Tami.
Wow, are you kidding me? It
Yeah.
goes by so fast.
Yeah, so at least that's what my timer was saying here a second ago. 61 minutes. We're 1 minute over.
Okay, somebody wants to know if we're eating overt fats like nuts, seeds, avocado, and soy.
Sometimes I eat soy in my steamed vegetables I have for lunch.
A couple times a week?
Yeah, I'll add, and it's really kind of a mood thing, I'll add some extra firm soy from Whole Foods.
Tofu.
Tofu. Well, yeah, tofu is made from soy. Cup of rice and the tofu, and then I put my steamed vegetables with that and mix that up. So sometimes it's just, I think that's still for me, it's the extra little bit of something in there that I want, but I don't have it consistently because I know it's a high-fat food. So
And then you have what in your daily oatmeal? What do you put in your daily oatmeal?
I have a banana, and I have chia, and I have hemp seed, and the ground flax seed. Mm-hmm. So
I stay away from the higher fat foods unless we eat out or if we have company. So we have one place that we like to go to that will make us oil-free tacos that are super delicious, and so they make a little bit of an avocado cream sauce, and they drizzle it on the tacos, so you might be getting maybe a tablespoon total. So I will have that there. That's my little bit of avocado. that I'll have, and that's maybe once every 5 or 6 weeks. And I don't typically eat soy or nuts, except maybe at Christmas. I do make a lasagna for the family, and it does have some soy in it, some tofu, and I might make a salad dressing at Christmas that has some well, can't do cashews anymore because our grandson's allergic to cashews, that has almonds in it. But otherwise, I stay away from the nuts and the seeds. I'll have a little bit of ground flax. I probably should increase that a little bit just for the omega-3s. But I have some of that. I put that in my quinoa banana oat muffin mix that I make, and I use that, to make some desserts and muffins and different things. So I get a little bit of the flax that way.
Stephanie, are you done with that? Stephanie asking about a very short answer to what I eat in a day, and we are strategizing on how we're going to put together a regular YouTube upload video that kind of covers that on a bit of a comprehensive basis. But the short answer is I have my oats that we just described for breakfast. I have a pound and a half probably of steamed vegetables with rice and sometimes a little bit of tofu for lunch. And then I typically have a 1 pound plus chopped salad for dinner, again with rice, corn, and beans, flavored different ways. And that's kind of the typical day for me, start to finish.
So if you follow me on Instagram, Nutmeg Notebook on Instagram, or Nutmeg Notebook on my Facebook page, I post at least 4 times a week what I ate in a day. It's usually like I'll post in the morning what I ate the day before, with pictures, descriptions, and links to the recipes if it's a recipe. So we just haven't done any YouTube videos.
And I'm not an Instagram person, so I don't show up there with food posts. And I do read Facebook, but I don't post much. So I think we'll see what I eat in a day probably when we actually cut an actual video about it. Okay. So that's on the list.
It's just a lot of work to do a video for that, because then we have to set up everything, and we're usually not home a whole day to do it.
It's finding all 3 meals in one spot. Yeah.
Yeah, to have the camera and the lights and everything set up for a whole day.
But it's on our wish list.
It's on our wish list to be here for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that doesn't always happen because, we're crazy busy. I want to say to Texas Native 7, she said, I'm not giving up, but it's frustrating when people keep questioning and I'm doing all the right things. And my doctor is plant-based. We weren't questioning you. I'm sorry if you felt that way.
Well, but there was a lot of suggestions in the feed.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
We're just, because we don't know you, so we don't know what your journey is. We don't know how long you've been eating this way or what you're eating. And so we're just throwing out there general information and what we would tell the general population on things to do. So, and if you have a plant-based doctor, I'm curious what your plant-based doctor is saying about this.
Corey Mondello lost 45 pounds giving up processed. So, way to go.
Wow, that's awesome.
Pat's asking, have I lost weight on this way of eating? Yes, when Tami adopted the lifestyle and took our family on our plant-based journey, I didn't put in much effort other than eating what was in front of me and in as much quantity as helped me be full and satiated. And I did lose approximately 30 pounds, like 29, 30 pounds from where I'm at then to what I used to be. So I don't take credit for it because I just ate food. She's the one that did the science and the culinary expertise to cause that to happen.
And
so
then
thank you, Tami.
You're welcome, honey. And then when you started having handfuls of almonds every night, what happened?
I had a relapse. I got kind of hooked on the almonds. It's a snack because there were other things I no longer ate. And 10 pounds creeped up on me, by mid-year last year. And so I asked Tami to stop buying the Costco, to help me walk past that mountain of almonds at Costco on the end cap. And I still kind of hang on to the cart, and I walk by and I look at them and go, that's not my food over there. Those are almonds. Because I can't eat just a handful, I keep going back and getting more handfuls.
And so then what happened when you stopped having almonds every night?
The 10 pounds just actually fairly promptly came off.
It did.
You know, it took a couple months, but yeah, it was just one tweak of a very high fat food that I was eating very consistently, changed that one habit, and the scale corrected itself.
So I think I said this in the last video that we did, because we did a video a week or so ago about, you know, going plant-based and how to get started. And Roseanne Oliveira, who's a doctor with the integrative medicine program at UC Davis here in California, Northern California, she said that people who have yo-yo dieted, especially it's women who have yo-yo dieted most of their life, they have to eat 25% fewer calories than someone their exact same age, same height, same weight, who has never yo-yo dieted. So something happens to us when we have been a yo-yo dieter that messes up our physiology. And so we have to eat 25% fewer calories to lose weight or to maintain our weight loss. So that's why I avoid the higher fat calorie foods, even though they're higher calorie density foods like avocado, nuts, seeds, bread, nut butters, chocolate, because chocolate itself isn't bad, but it's the company it keeps. It's, you know, the high fat and sugar that go with it to make something that's palatable. So because I just don't have room in my daily allotment for all those extra grams of fat or the extra calories that are there. And so, you know, people ask, well, you know, when you get to your goal weight, then did you start adding food back in? No, I didn't get to do that, because when I weigh less, I weigh 49 pounds less than I did at my highest weight. I don't need as many calories to sustain myself, just like even not doing anything. I don't need as many calories because my body is so much smaller. So no, I didn't change anything really about the way I eat. I still have to eat the way I ate to lose the weight, which is perfectly okay with me, because I love the potatoes. I love the food I eat. I love my big, beautiful salads that I eat every day. I love the simple, you know, being able to have a Japanese sweet potato with some cinnamon and air fry it and drizzle a little bit of balsamic vinegar over the top and call that a dessert. I absolutely love the food that I get to eat. I love being a size 4. I love not yo-yo dieting. I love how my brain chemistry is so calm and peaceful. I love that I don't have to think about what I'm gonna eat. And I love not having the struggle of thinking, you know, that I'm too fat and that I need to lose weight, and that, you know, guilt over what I ate, or you know, debating, should I have it or shouldn't I have it, or, you know, I just love so much about my life, about this lifestyle, about eating the way that we eat, that, you know, I just don't want to mess it up, basically.
Okay, wrapping up here with a couple of things. Margot, we add the cinnamon to the sweet potato after it's done with a little sprinkle spoon tapping technique. Otherwise, it would all blow away in the air fryer.
So Corey says that she thinks that Chef AJ eats mostly white rice. No, she doesn't. At home, she eats mostly brown rice. We we didn't stay there. We stayed in an Airbnb near her place, but she cooked for us for a whole week. She does love white rice, and she eats it when she's away from home. But at home, she does eat brown rice most of the time, unless she's having like some digestive issues or something, then she will eat white rice. But she does like white rice. You are right about that. So
and I answer. I eat the rolled oats. You eat oats. There's a whole video on oat groats on the Nutmeg Notebook YouTube channel. You can just
Yeah,
Google
we
Nutmeg
have-
Notebook oat groats, it'll take you right to it.
Yeah, we have our friend Sharon McRae taught me how to make oat groats in the Instant Pot so that they come out the texture of brown rice, because I made them the first time. They came out like porridge and I could not eat it. I did not like it that way at all. So check out that video. Be sure and go over to the blog and subscribe to nutmegnotebook.com. If you could click on like, it really helps our ratings here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on the icon for the bell, because then you'll get notifications when we go live. We normally go live on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock. We won't this Tuesday because we have some commitments that don't allow that to happen. And if you have questions for us that we weren't able to answer, once the video's over, you can leave another comment and leave that question.
The regular comments below the description, yeah.
Or you can email us at Tami@nutmegnotebook.com, or if you've got a question for this guy, email him at Tom@nutmegnotebook.com.
And we're not currently taking any new adoptions or grandchild adoptions. There's been requests for both here.
Well, we wish we could. We wish we could. But right now, our schedule is quite full with the ones that we have. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Okay.
So, so if you have questions, you can also leave them on Facebook for us, and we will make a compilation of questions, and we will do another Q&A soon and try to answer your questions. And check out all of our other YouTube videos, because probably something that you want to know about, we've got a video on it. So thanks a lot for watching today, you guys. I'm Tami.
And I'm Tom.
And we help you get healthy and stay healthy, one meal at a time. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.